Jason from Tech.Ed, and here with me I've got
David Powell. I work at Telstra. I'm part of the devices team, GM for Device UI.
And you.
And Tony Wilkinson. I work in our consumer and online team, and we run marketing for Windows, Windows Phone and Windows Live.
And so we've seen the TelstraOne app demoed for Windows Phone 7 in the keynote. Maybe you want to give us a bit of a background as to what's going on there?
Sure. So we've been working on the TelstraOne hub for Windows Phone 7 since around about March time. We went to the Mix conference to find out about the device and how it behaved, and we've been sort of designing that application ever since in terms of working out the best way to get the best out of the Windows Phone platform for the TelstraOne and all of our services.
Cool. And so what can consumers, basically what does the app do? What can consumers expect from, is it just for Telstra customers?
It is for Telstra customers. Essentially it will be on the Windows Phone devices, so it's designed to be a way of bringing in big pond content, news, sport, weather, and also putting our Telstra services in there such as sensors, white pages, yellow pages, those sort of things.
So what about something like the V8s that are streamed live? Is that accessible through the phone?
We have V8 News. We don't have live streaming as yet. That's on the roadmap, but we're working with Microsoft to get that in the present. But what we do have is the sports news that comes directly into the device. So we have this concept of live tiles just as the Windows Phone environment does.
And so as that gets updated online, it's automatically updated in the app. It just sucks in and
So you can go straight into V8 Sports and you can get the latest news on all the V8 action.
Maybe a question for you. When you exit an app and you go back into it, will it save the state of where you were at the last page, or you basically start again and then navigate your way through to where you were?
Yeah, so for example, if you go into one of the hubs and as you come out, wherever you were when you came out, when you go back into it,
so it does.
Back in that same position.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. So sports, news, what about things like checking your account balance and things like that?
Again, it's one of those, when we first were working on the designs in terms of what we would do for the first launch app, we looked at sort of my account details. That is available within the service. So if you go to the My Place options, you can still access your account details.
And that would launch like the browser and then...
At present, So we've considered all of the usual use cases that we have within Telstra services and our devices. But primarily what we've tried to focus on is utilising the Windows Phone content platform. Because it is such a rich environment, we really wanted to sort of play to the strengths of Telstra's content and also the Windows Phone platform.
Very good. What about from Microsoft's perspective? How's it been working with Telstra and getting the app developed?
Yeah, well, it's been a great process. You know, we've got a great partnership going with Telstra around bringing Windows Phone to market in Australia. So we're very happy with the support we're getting from Telstra there. The development process here was, dramatically fast. I saw a prototype of the application about a month ago when it was only just started. So from there to just about a completed product in 4 to 6 weeks is pretty remarkable.
So how does that come about? Is it Telstra development team with assistance from Microsoft? Is there Microsoft developers getting content and deals through Telstra? Like how has that actually come about?
It's actually a sort of little bit of both. It's a really collaborative process. So the initial part was around the planning and making sure that we understood the platform and what it was capable of, and then working out the best way to deliver the best customer experience possible within that framework. And then it was around finding the right developer to be able to help us to deliver that.
Okay, cool.
And it really did come together quite quickly once all of those pieces were together. We're sort of looking around about 4 weeks it's taken us to get the prototype to the stage it is today. So it's been very agile.
Cool. So obviously development hardware here. Does the app take advantage of being like? Can you contribute to anything via the app, or is it really just a consumption of content that's published?
At present, it's a consumption of content. We've been very, very careful to make sure that we get the right experience for launch, and that it's the best experience possible for our customers. I mean, it's all around Australian content for Australians today, and giving them all that information at a glance. So you go in your news, weather, and they have pretty much a good overall look at what's actually happening today.
Yeah, and I think really what we've got here is a pretty seamless extension of the basic interface that we've got with Windows Phone. As you go into the TelstraOne hub, the experience you've got is almost the same as what you've got going into the People hub or any of the other hubs that are just part of the Windows Phone. So it's really taking advantage of the way we've designed the phone and using that within this application.
What about music? Obviously, Microsoft are probably going to be introduced. Well, the Zune is part of it, but whether the Zune Marketplace and when that comes. Obviously, Telstra have music and content offerings. So is there anything, any way, I guess, to merge those two, or to bring the content side of things into the phone, perhaps into the music area, or would that be a separate integrated into the app and then you access it that way?
I mean, again, it's one of those things that we've looked at in terms of the planning as a roadmap of when we work on those certain areas. For music at the moment, it's one of those things that Zune does a great job of music. So we've sort of focused on what we want to do well, which is sort of news, sport and weather for now.
Yep.
In the future, there are obviously opportunities within the environment for us to be able to plug in potentially music services in there as well, but it's not something that's actually on the roadmap for now.
Yeah, very good. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the device, the hardware, or the production of the app, or anything else you want to add?
One of the things that is probably key to sort of the whole experience is around the actual customer choice and being able to give them the opportunities to go in there. And what we wanted to do was make it so that it was more relevant to, they'd go in and they'd be able to see what's happening today. We do have a sort of roadmap of improvements for what we want to do as the actual platform grows and as the application grows as well. So one of those things will be around more user customization and allowing users to be able to tailor that content the way that they want.
So this news page, for example, those tiles appear similarly to the home screen of Windows Phone 7. Yes. Can you arrange these at all, or what sort of functionality?
Again, not in the prototype that you see there, but it is on the roadmap in terms of what we want to do with the actual application.
Yeah. So if you care about business and world, you have those up at the top.
You can move those around, So that is something that we are planning for at the moment.
I like that spring, when you get to the end of a list or something, then it springs back, you sort of know you've hit that.
Yeah, it's got a nice sort of feel to it. And I think, we talked about, or Dave talked about the theme of personalisation. This is something that I think is core to the way Windows Phone works, making it a very personal experience. We have a choice of devices, so if you like to have slate devices, you can have that. If you like a small one, you can have it. If you want a big one, you can have that. If you want a keyboard, you can have that. So we're saying you can have exactly the type of hardware that you want, and then also we have exactly the kind of software that you want to have, and the information that you want is what's made available on the phone when you start it up.
Yep. You talked about the limited scope of this initial build of the app. What if somebody comes across a news item that they want to share out to a social network, their Facebook or Twitter? Is that built into version 1, or is that something for the future?
Again, it's one of those ones that as any new platform or new application or new software, you always have to plan to give the best experience first and then build extra functionality in as you go. Yep. We've done that very much deliberately to make sure that we got that experience just right, and actually it was something that was really compelling and useful to our users. So it's something that's coming. It's not something for launch, but it will be there.
If somebody wanted to build an app that did allow for sharing out to Facebook, and you'd already plugged in your Facebook details to the phone, how does that go? Does the application request access to those details, and the user have to would need to allow those permissions, or once you've added it, then does it give access to all the apps that, if there's a share to Facebook option, then and you've already added your details, does that just happen, or?
Yeah, actually, sorry, Jason. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to the question.
That's
so
fine.
We'll have to. Sure, it's something we can find out.
That's all right. It's looking great. I was impressed to see it in the keynote. It was sort of one of the new things that we'd seen, and it's looking good. So if you've got other things to add,
no, it is one of those things that we, as I say, very, very deliberate in terms of the way that we've looked at the platform and made sure it feels exactly like the Windows Phone platform already, because that's important that users are able to be familiar with that user interface across a normal application and also across the phone.
One question I do have before we finish up is if it's a Telstra SIM that goes in there or a Telstra phone sold at Telstra, is that likely to have that tile on by default, that app installed? Or will that be, so will you buy your device clean and then it would be up to the user to navigate through the marketplace and download and install the app?
If it's a Telstra service and it's bought from Telstra, then the Telstra application would be there.
Okay.
Again, it's one of those ones where the customer can make the choice to move that item around.
Yep.
So
it would be removable if somebody didn't want it?
The customer can remove them if they want it.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the same with any part of the phone. So we have all the default set up, but you can customise that to make that exactly what's important to you. So the things that you want to see, the information that you want to see, is the stuff that you see on your start screen.
Very good.
And it's about the actual content is good enough for it to be there anyway. So customers will go in and make their choice.
Yeah, very good. All right, thanks very much for your time, guys.
Thanks very much, Jason.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you.